caseworker, I work with parents who often hate my guts. So how can, like, we need parents, another parent to come in and walk beside them. How do we do that? How do we, like, how could you help with that?
So, what I, in my professional, I'm a parent mentor. I'm also a parent, and so I have that lived experience of going through the system, of having my kids removed and then successfully parenting them. And so I know how to navigate through a confusing and overwhelming system. And so, typically, when we meet with parents that have had their kids removed and are, going through the checklist items of the things that the caseworker wants them to do, generally they're not super, engaged with the caseworker because, there's a huge barrier, right up front before they even meet the caseworker of, you hold the papers to my kids and you took my kids, even though you didn't really specifically take my kids, right? But you did, and you probably did, and so there's already that anger. And then there's already that guilt and that shame of, as a parent, that I can feel, of knowing, I've got this guilt and the shame of not having my kids and of losing my kids, right? Mm-hmm. And so now I've got to come to you, and I have to have a level of humility, which I'm not capable of having. I'm not capable of having because I have all this, I have all this pride, I have all this ego going on right now of, I've got to get my kids back, and I'm not going to get them back through you, right? I'm going to go everywhere around you to get them. I'm not going to try to build that relationship. So what we try to do is we try to help them understand that, the caseworker is really trying to build that relationship with you. They really want to hear what you want. There's this list of things that they want you to do, but just remember, like, that there's only one thing at a time that you need to do, and just to meet them where they're at, like, whatever they're at, like, culturally specific, like, hey, like, that might work for someone else, but for me, that's not going to work for me in my long-term parenting, because that's kind of one of the barriers too. But but really, like, a lot of my work is meeting them where they're at and listening, to where they want to go. And then letting them know, just encouraging them that, these are the things that, the steps that you're going to need to take in order to get your kids back. Like, and the caseworker wants to do that, right? They want to do that.
Because we have a time frame, in essence, that is a mandated time frame of, if we don't have the kids back in the home by a certain amount of time, then we have to move forward with other permanency. And so trying to get that parent on board from the very beginning so that we can move toward that and not reach that date that says, oh, they've been out of the home for too long. So I've had one case where probably one of a more successful case I had was because I had another parent come in and talk to that parent and walk beside them, and therefore encourage them to work with us as caseworkers and do those services and things. And we were able to get the kids back in the home pretty quickly because of that.
But that's what we do too. And another thing we do is we also, like, work with the caseworker, and we're like, hey, recognize that this parent, what they're doing. Say, hey, you have gone to all of I see that you have been going to all your visits. I see that you have 30 days clean. That's amazing to recognize those, because those are part of those things that a lot of times caseworkers they're not recognizing.
Yeah, because we're looking at the very long term and not that little short,
not like,
those
hey,
short things.
You have this amount of time, and then and then just having that person that has that lived experience. And I think that comes a lot with with systems, with our judges, and it's just that they're up here, and when we come down to this level, whether as a parent, or with the youth, it's an even playing.
Often we come out of those courtrooms and it seems like the parent was in a different courtroom than we were, because they will be so upset or automatically go to, you're terminating my rights, And we're like, no, we're not. That's not what was said in there. So from a parent point of view, where is that breakdown?
It's about the delivery, and it's about those key words like adoption, termination, even like neglect. When we start talking about allegations and talking about neglect and abuse, and you bring those words up to a parent and they have shut down and they are not hearing anything. I know for me, personal experience, in a courtroom, and I hear that, the ASFA timelines as far as, the year and a half, 18 months and adoption, then that's all I've heard. And then I'll walk out of that courtroom thinking, oh my gosh, I am never going to get my kids back.
Right.
And unless somebody was there to translate what was said in the courtroom, then you have all these parents that are walking outside of meetings, even meetings with, people, providers, walking out of those meetings thinking something else. And I think that if we can change the way that it's delivered, like, hey, this is what we're going to, like, kind of like give them like a warning, like this is what we're going to talk about. You're going to hear these 2 words, 3 words, just please know. And like, even if you write them down, like, so knowing that, hey, we're going to talk about this, but that's not what they mean, and then go on with the conversation, because then you're kind of, it's almost like you're explaining it in, smaller terms, but really, like, you have to think about all of the overwhelming things that a parent is thinking about already. It's almost like, take a number, like, now you want to talk about adoption and you want me to do all these things. Now all these things are back here, and now adoption is the only thing driving me, or termination. Yeah. And I'm losing my kids. Right. So I think it's the gentleness of the way it's delivered as well, and just making sure, like, after court, hey, just want to just check in with you, or even before court, like before meetings before court, or meetings before meetings. Hey, these are the things that we're going to be talking about, the agenda items. Just want you, is there a support person there that somebody, a friend or a family or someone that you want to have beside you to kind of help you, because it's very overwhelming. Not to say it's confusing, because then that would mean that you can understand it, but is there someone you want there for support that can maybe kind of